Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is mucking fun day. I've only slept for 3 hours, and that's why the show is starting a bit later than usual. Did you guys have a good weekend? Because some people have had a good weekend and some people haven't. And we're going to tell you all about it here on the news Before Coffee. Yeah, why am I doing the intro on no sleep? Let's go ahead and start our headlines. My brain is like, huh? Today on Before Coffee. 2 people have died in floods in southern Germany. The situation remains tense.
And Mexico elects its first woman president.
Airline passengers revenues to hit records in 2024.
Never mind all that, there's an asteroid heading towards Earth in 2029 and we're all gonna die.
Culture news. Robert Niro denied leadership award after speaking out against Trump.
Those stories and more, which is National Repeat Day, which is
National Repeat Day.
National Repeat Day, which is June 3rd, 2024. Today, which is National Repeat Day, June 23rd, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Alright, let's get into our first news story, which both my stories are quite short because I couldn't find anything worth talking about, for me anyways. There was a lot of news about the EU elections, of course, which I hope you're getting ready for if you live in Europe, because they're going to need all those votes to fight the far right. But when it comes to Germany, they're suffering from a huge flood that has hit them in southern Germany. This is on The Independent by, who wrote this article? AP News, AP Newswire. So this is straight off the hot press of AP News. The death toll in the floods across a large part of southern Germany rose to 2 on Monday, which is today, the June 3rd, as the bodies of a missing woman was found. Chancellor Olaf Scholz visited the flooded region, and officials warned that water levels could rise further in some areas. The body of 43-year-old, whom rescuers had been looking for since Sunday morning, was found in a basement in the Bavarian town of Schrobenhausen. Police told German news agency dpa. A firefighter was found dead in nearby Pfaffenhofen on Sunday, June 2nd, after an inflatable boat he and colleagues were using capsized. Tragic. I'm sure both very young people. Like 43 years old is not old. That's still pretty young. Persistent heavy rain led to widespread flooding in the southern states of Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg over the weekend. The floods caused extensive transport disruption, with long-distance rail routes to Munich from the north and west of the action on Monday, or today, June 3rd. Scholz visited Reichertshofe, north of Munich, inspecting a sandbagged riverbank and meeting regional officials, including Markus Söder, Bavaria's governor. Söder said that the situation remains critical and tense, with water receding in some places, but new flooding and evacuations elsewhere. You know that water levels are expected to rise in the city of Regensburg. That's so funny, sorry. It's not funny, but Regen in Dutch means rain. So the town's name is Rain Town. And they're expected to have water levels rise. I'm just saying, coincidence. And further down the Danube.
Springs are a lot.
Scholz said that this is not just one event like there have been for centuries, that a succession of floods in recent times shows we cannot neglect the task of halting man-made climate change. That's right, and that's the most important message you can get from this, is you not want to die in a flood or a crazy wild storm that you never expected to happen in your lifetime, then start pressuring your governments to do something about climate change. And I think he said, I love when governments say we. But I hope he means we as in the government we, and not the collective people we, because not a lot of us can do much. I'm a personal believer that climate change is a corporate issue, not a independent person issue. And they are the ones who need to stop neglecting climate change, because they still want to make those profits, which we're about to talk about in my next story. They want to make those profits while the world burns. So keep that in mind. And I guess I wonder if I don't know if there probably isn't any sort of fund you can donate to for the flood just yet, because it only just happened. So I don't see any. I wish they would link one, or maybe I could have done more research if I had time for like a donate to the German flood.
International
disaster,
Red Cross usually, but I don't think Germany has to.
Yeah. But
the charity.
Stay safe out there and keep your eyes on the water. That's my story.
All right, okay. And on to political news from Mexico. This is from CNN.com. Kathleen Margramo. This is the one story that was less than 15 minutes. So, Claudia Sheinbaum, the former head of the government of Mexico City and candidate for the ruling Morena Party, is projected to be the country's first female president, making a historic achievement in a country known for its deeply patriarchal, I can't say patriarchal, culture. Patriarch. All right, anyway, break my microphone saying it. The 61-year-old, this is my age, 61-year-old rode the wave of popularity of her longtime political ally, the outgoing leftist Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, and their Morena Party. The electoral court must still validate the presidential election, and if confirmed, she will start her presidency on October 1st. Sheinbaum, a former climate scientist, entered the campaign as a favorite. A climate scientist, there's your good news on the climate right there. Entered the campaign as a favorite, according to the February and March polls by Maidovsky, Parametria, and De las Haras Demontecnia, which placed her support between 49 and 67% compared with her political rivals. Sheinbaum holds a degree in physics and a master's and doctorate in energy engineering. Can't use my lips this morning. She has received several accolades for her academic career. Born in Mexico City in 1962, she has 2 children and 1 grandchild. Her partner, Jesus Maria Tariba, who she met at university while both were studying physics, is currently a financial risk specialist at the Bank of Mexico. In 2018, she became head of the government of Mexico City, the first woman elected to this position. Her desire to be part of Mexican politics began in 2000 when she was appointed Secretary of Environment for the Federal District under Andrés López Obrador's administration until 2006. Sorry, put a 1 in there for some reason. 3 years before she became the first woman elected as the head of the Tlalpan Borough, serving until 2017. In early 2018, she joined the government of Mexico City as head until June 2023, when she stepped down to run for presidency with the Morena Party, of which she is a founder, aiming to succeed her party colleague, López Obrador. As part of her campaign within Morena, Sheinbaum is designated the coordinator for the Defense of Transformation.
Bless you. Bless you again.
Wow.
Somebody's talking about you.
I only sneeze twice. I never sneeze once or 3 times, just unless I'm really bad. But it's always twice. I don't know why. Anyway, much of her life has been dedicated to university teaching, focusing on renewable energy and climate change. In 2007, the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, IPCC, to which Sheinbaum contributed, received the Nobel Peace Prize. Sheinbaum is not only the first female president of Mexico, but the first president with Jewish heritage, although she rarely speaks publicly about her personal background and has governed as a secular leftist. Violence has loomed large in this election, the bloodiest in Mexico's history. Dozens of political candidates and applicants have been killed by criminal organizations trying to influence those coming into power. The poll is seen as some as a referendum of the policies of outgoing President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, who is Feinbaum's mentor. Obrador's popular social welfare has helped poor Mexicans, but his hugs and not bullets policy of not confronting cartels has not stopped criminal violence. Mexico's homicide rate is among the highest in the world, and more than 100,000 people remain missing in the country. It also remains a dangerous place to be a woman. With sky-high femicide rates for the region, which figures show around 10 women are murdered every day. Steinbaum will have to act quickly in Mexico's organized crime and security issues, said Will Freeman, the fellow Latin American Studies at Council of Foreign Relations. It is stunning that the governing party could win re-election by a landslide, as it seems. Given the sweeping violence, the thing is, the opposition didn't seem to put together a much more credible set of proposals about what they would do. Steinbaum comes with a team from her time as Mexico's city mayor that has proven record on improving security, but it remains to be seen if she can replicate that on a national scale, Freeman said. Both Mexico and the U.S. are holding elections in 2024, something that happens once every 12 years, and it comes a time of transition and relationship between two countries. Steinbaum will assume office just a month before Americans head to the polls in November. Mexico is a key U.S. ally on a range of issues, from trade to cracking down on drug trafficking to managing migration. Current and former U.S. officials have frequently described the relationship between President Joe Biden and Mexico's President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador as friendly and professional, and anticipate a productive relationship with Mexico's next president. But Mexico's election comes with a critical time for the Biden administration. That goes on to U.S. politics, which they usually get wrong in these newspapers because they come out from a totally, let's both sides this issue, even though it's not a both sides issue. And I don't even read American newspapers when they talk about politics because they're off the mark by they're shooting in a whole opposite direction of where they need to go. Yeah. Instead of going, instead of reporting on the story, they add these little embellishments that are ancillary to the story, like, this guy's unpopular, which is not true. So why do you even say that? You don't know if he's popular or not. You want people to read your polls. That's the problem with these papers. They commission polls, they got to pay for them, and they want to go, well, we got to pay for these polls, so let's make them more important than they really were. Let's make sure we didn't waste all our money. Extrapolate some data out of them. Yeah, let's extrapolate some data out of it, report it as an actual fact. So don't read polls. Although the polls in this one, like I said, Mexico, it wasn't even a close election. Mexico's polls added from 49 to 67, which is a long way off. 67's way up there. I mean, it's like 67% is ridiculous in an election. Nobody gets that. But
that's crazy.
It's good news. We got an environmentalist in charge of Mexico starting in sometime this year. Back to you.
Sometime
in October. In October. Got it.
Amazing. Congratulations, Mexico. I think we should try making all the politicians women for like 10 years and see what happens. Just a social experiment. Just want to see. Maybe it'll just be as bad as when men do it, because I am a strong believer that there isn't some weird alien difference between men and women, but we are socially what is the word I'm trying to say? Socially engineered. We're socially engineered in these different ways, I would argue.
Unfortunately, in the United States anyway, the white males are the ones with all the grievances. Isn't that weird? Mm-hmm. Anyway.
They're all the ones that are having all the trouble. What is that about?
Wow, guys, so many grievances over my ideal life. I can't believe it.
Back to you. Life's so hard. Okay. Yeah. When it comes to, I guess probably, I would assume perhaps maybe a lot of white males are making a lot of money because revenues are hitting a record high in airlines. This is from Channel News Asia. Airlines will fly nearly 5 billion passengers in 2024, and revenues will soar close to US $1 trillion, both record highs. The International Air Transport Association, or IATA, said on June 3rd, as the industry roars back after the pandemic. The trade body also said it expected the world's airlines to post $30 billion US in net earnings this year, up from its previous estimates of $25.7 billion. However, total expenses are also expected to hit a record high this year, climbing 9.4% to $936 billion. Wait, so they're estimated to make $30 billion in net earnings, which means that's the profit that they're making. But they're spending almost $1 trillion in actual, 936 billion US. Climbing up that profit margin. IATA announced that at its annual general meeting in Dubai. The expected US 30 billion profit is a great achievement considering the recent deep pandemic losses, IATA Director General Willie Walsh told the body's annual general meeting in Dubai. Without a doubt, aviation is vital to the ambition and prosperity of individuals and economies. Strengthening airline profitability and growing financial resilience is important, he added. The COVID-19 pandemic plunged the air industry into crisis, grounding fleets and costing thousands of jobs. IATA put the losses at $183 billion between 2020 and 2022. Despite the bounce back to record passengers and revenues of $996 billion expected this year, some clouds remain for the industry. And what are these clouds? There's higher travel demand, putting pressure on aviation sector, even as more mid-career workers stay. This is coming out of Singapore. Out of more than 4,300 people, this is also on Channel News Asia. Out of more than 4,300 people enrolled in the career conversion program for the air transport sector over the past 6 years, 90% remain employed 24 months after. So there's 10% of people who are no longer being employed. When I came in, I was very nerve-wracking because I didn't know anything about the aviation side, because they had very good support and very good team leads who actually assisted us in proficiencies in the system, the 31-year-old former public servant told the CNA. Readapting is one thing, being able to be comfortable in a new environment is another. Ms. Kaur was among more than 100 employees in the major U.S. airlines who were trained or hired under the Singapore government's career conversion program. So a lot of your new U.S. employees are actually from Singapore. Such a move has allowed Delta to keep up with growing travel demand post-pandemic. According to a recent report by travel search platform Skyscanner, travel demand is expected to grow up to 15% this year. This demand, however, has led experts to warn of a lack of manpower in the aviation sector, even as more who made mid-career switches like Ms. Kaur have stayed in the industry in recent years. I find it interesting that it looks like the US is staffing. I don't think there are people actually working on the planes or even in the airport. It looks like it's people who sit at desks and do more of like the controller work, maybe. Workforce Singapore, WSG, a statutory board under the Manpower Ministry, told CNA more than 4,300 people signed up for the CCP in the sector over the past 6 years. 9 in 10 are still employed 24 months after embarking on the CCP. Man, if only I lived in Singapore, maybe I could get hired. Institutes of Higher Learning I live in the US, they won't hire me, right? They're like, oh, we have to pay you a real wage. Even though it's actually really expensive to live in Singapore, so I do wonder if they're actually getting paid like Americans would be being paid. I doubt it. Usually when you're outsourcing your workforce, it's because they're cheaper. Institutes of Higher Learning have also reported more students taking aviation-related courses. At the Singapore Institute of Technology, for example, enrollment in aerospace and aviation courses jumped to 20% in 2021 last year. WSG's Director of Manufacturing and Connectivity, Anderson Aya, said that the CCP can help address manpower challenges in the sector by bringing in talent from other sectors and improving skills of current workers. Through the CCP, companies also have the flexibility to let their employees undergo structured on-the-job training to take on new and redesigned jobs within the sector, Mr. Aya added. Delta's Engagement Center Director, Mr. Nirmala Kirshan, said the program was a big help amid a manpower shortage due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The airline does not fly out Singapore, but serves the Asia-Pacific region and the US. Coming out of the pandemic, right after that, the travel industry was picking up. We also had a crunch of resources. Our manpower was not where it was expected to be. We had to hire about 60% more gradually within the year, Mr. Nirmala said. I wonder if this has anything to do with those strikes that were happening in all over Europe, and I think also maybe in the US, but the US doesn't really have strikes like Europe does, where they were striking for more better pay at airlines and transport companies. I wonder if that affected. Probably not, because Delta is a US company. So I was thinking maybe that's why they had a manpower shortage, because people are like, I'm not working for you, you don't pay enough. Doing it all by ourselves was nearly impossible because the platforms that we could reach were not that attractive. And it became much more challenging to recruit the desired talents. When Delta came on board the CCP, it was able to reskill more than 100 employees. So they didn't just hire new employees, but they helped reskill 100 of their already existing employees. It could also tap a broader pool of talent who could speak to customers across the world. Going into the CCP would give us active job seekers who are ready to do a conversion from their current role to a new experience, Mr. Nirmala added. Some industry observers said that they attract new blood. Airlines may have to turn to new technologies or other strategies. Mr. Alan Lim, director of Alton Aviation Consultancy, noted that many experienced aviation workers left during the pandemic when travel ground to a halt. These included pilots and technicians who require several years of training. Well, maybe you should just call them back and ask them if they want to come back. Unless they're just like, you know what, I'm just going to retire, I guess. Mr. Lim said the aviation sector had been impacted by recent geopolitical events, which had led to elevated fuel prices and oil prices. Yeah, these geopolitical events are the war in Ukraine, by the way, which is still going on. Competition also increased post-pandemic, with major airlines trying to expand their networks and increase capacity. Over the 2 decades, the sector will need about 650,000. That's over 500,000 new pilots and more than 700,000 new technicians to address the growing demand, with 40% of these new requirements coming from the Asia-Pacific region, Mr. Lim added. I do wonder if this is not just the FOMO missing out traveling that people are doing, and it will settle back to normal levels at some point, and then they're gonna have to let go of all these new people they're hiring because they think I swear it's the
business cycle of hiring and firing, huh?
This is how corporation thinks. They think the line that is going up is always going to continue going up, right? They're so positively
that's what they tell the stockholders.
Yeah, gonna keep going until it crashes. That's what they do, and they'll keep hiring people because they don't care about your lives. They'll just we'll just let them go if it crashes, because fuck those guys, bills they have to pay.
Once you become a corporation.
Yeah, we're trying to make $30 billion in profit here. We don't give a shit about your life. There's a very steady.
You realize the most important people are not the employees. The most important people are not the employees. They're the stockholders. Yep. Back to you.
It's the people sitting on the seats of your own your shares.
Are just random people on stock.
Yeah. With 40% of these new recruitments coming from Asia-Pacific region, Mr. Lim added, there's a very steady and fast-growing demand for manpower in aviation, he said. There's really a big challenge for the industry to try and find different ways to either bring up or supply or at least manage this growth in demand. So there is also a little short look to what they're doing. This article was actually from April 24th, 2024, but I was interested in what they were talking about when they mentioned some clouds remaining in the industry. So they're expected to bounce back, though I guess they are bouncing back now. But there is a shortage of workers from that bounce back, which is very worrying.
The business model.
Sorry?
Airlines are the business model they don't tell you about in business school. It's the one that can run as poorly as they want, lose money, piss off their customers, raise their fees, and then when they start losing money, lose enough, they go to the government and say, can you give us an interest-free loan for just 5 years? We'll pay you back.
You can pay the rent.
And when we raise our rates again, we'll pay you back. See how this works? And then when their stock price goes skyrocketing high, they never say thank you to the taxpayers for an interest-free loan. They just keep raising their rates and their fees and making your life inconvenient when all you want to do is get from Cleveland to Baltimore, Anyway.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I was looking at friends wanted to go on a camping trip, and I was looking at doing that, and it costs the same amount for me to fly from, for example, Baltimore to Colorado than it is to fly from Europe to the US. It's the same price. If I wanted to go from, it was specifically to Denver. If I wanted to fly from Baltimore to Denver, which I guess is a supreme air flight route, you have to pay like $300 per ticket or something. Or you can fly like with Southwest from Baltimore to Colorado Springs, way cheaper. It's crazy how much they add on to your ticket just because you want to go to a specific city, you know. You'd think that the more capital airlines or the capital-based airports would have cheaper tickets because people always go there.
Never forget that
they charge you more.
You can be sitting in a seat. Yeah. You could be sitting in a seat, and the person next to you probably paid 10% of what you paid for it, right? Because they got some deal somewhere, right? It's totally. Seats and airlines are not all the same price, and sometimes it's not even close. Yeah. So it's always funny when they say their economic growth is doing better, and you're right. This optimism is so good for us. Yeah, it's great until now we've totally overinflated our stock value, and now we're gonna lay people off.
Bye.
And it's not their fault. They dropped everything to work for an airline. Now you're without a job.
Yeah. Well, I do want to say that they do mention this very shortly in the article at the end here, which is that a lot of these airlines are having sharp rises in costs due to shortages of parts and labor, but also the challenges related to climate change, such as the flooding that happened in Dubai a couple weeks back, and of course forest fires. But I do find it interesting that they don't mention that maybe, just maybe, the airlines themselves are causing their own climate issues, because, you know, I pretty sure
a lot of fuel.
You're definitely not helping the climate by putting all that fuel and burning all that fuel in the top of the freaking stratosphere when you're flying especially, of course, which I think Taylor Swift gets a lot of lack for this, your private jets. People love to follow celebrities and their private jet routes just to see how much fuel
private jets
they're wasting, and how much
private jets probably better on fuel than a jumbo jet.
People taking a 30-minute plane ride from like San Francisco to LA or something. Like, it costs you longer to get on the plane to actually get there. You know, it's like, I really need to get there as soon as possible, so I'm gonna take my private jet so I can get there.
It's quite a ways from LA to San Francisco.
I'm just saying,
might be 2 hours.
You can also plan your day better, where you have time to travel. Instead of, you know, taking a private jet for 30 minutes. But that's just me. I'm just a poor.
Yeah, I mean, it's luxury travel, if you ask me. I don't even think about it anymore. I'm poor, so I don't even think about like luxury travel, like getting on an airplane. That seems like something somebody else can afford, not me. Those days are. I mean, I can get a discount ticket. Don't take any bags.
Great. For me, it's always been the journey, not the destination.
It's just. Right now, I'm scraping money out of the freaking couch cushions, so I don't know what the hell to say about any of this. Okay, next story.
Yep, that's our long rant about airlines.
Yeah. Okay, well, the airlines are doing well, or planning to do well anyway. Who knows? It's a very volatile sector. Here's something that's flying through space that we can't do nothing about. We can look at it. We can do something, but we're probably afraid to do something because it might tilt it in the wrong direction. This is from space.com. Robert Lee. God of Destruction asteroid Apophis will come to Earth in 2029, and it could meet some tiny spacecraft. On April 13th, 2029, a Friday, no less, when Apophis, formerly known as 99942 Apophis, makes its closest approach to Earth, it will become a prominent over our planet that'll be visible with the unaided eye. NASA's Osiris Apex aircraft, once known as OSIRIS-REx, will be on hand to meet the near-Earth asteroid personally. But if things shape up, the NASA mission could be joined by hosts of little satellites during its rendezvous. Under the auspicious Neelite project, a team from the Julius Maximilius Universität Würzburg JMU, led by space engineer Kakan Kayal, has revealed the three concepts for such a spacecraft. Each of the suggested satellites will aim to exploit the asteroid passage because Earth experiences just once such event every millennium. The goal, to collect data that could help scientists better understand the solar system and perhaps even aid in the development of defense measures against dangerous asteroids. As to why Apophis is an apt target for planetary defense study, well discovered in 2004, the asteroid quickly rose to the top of the tables that measured the risk of so-called potentially hazardous asteroids, or asteroids with widths of 460 feet or more that come within 20 lunar distances of Earth. Both the size of Apophis and how close to Earth its trajectory brings it saw the asteroid remain at the top of both the European Space Agency's impact risk list of PHAs and NASA's Century Risk Table for 17 years. That was until a close flyby of the asteroid, a space rock that is almost as wide as the Empire State Building is tall, in March 2021 allowed NASA scientists to determine Apophis actually won't hit the Earth for at least 100 years. Though we now know Apophis won't collide with Earth in the next century, its scientific impact in 2029 will still be tremendous, and space agencies from countries across the globe will be closely tracking its trajectory. Breaking space. Plus, an asteroid that formed around the same time as the planets from leftover material around the infant sun. Apophis also offers researchers a unique opportunity to determine what the solar system's chemical composition was around 4.6 billion years ago. Despite the fact that we are aware of around 1.3 million asteroids in the solar system, of which 2,500 are considered potentially hazardous, spacecraft missions to study asteroids are relatively rare. Thus far, only 20 missions have been deployed to study asteroids in situ, including, I don't know what that word situ means, S-I-T-U, never seen it in my life. Must be Greek. Including the aforementioned OSIRIS-REx, Japan's Hayabusa 1, Hayabusa 2 craft, the ESA's Rosetta Space Probe, and the asteroid-hopping NASA mission Lucy, currently journeying to the Trojan asteroids that share their orbit with Jupiter. Thus, the JMU team must carefully consider its option when considering a future asteroid investigating project. The team's first concept is a small satellite that will join Apophis for a period of 2 months as it makes its close approach to Earth in 2029. The craft will stick with the God of Destruction space rock for weeks after, even as it moves away. Over the course of the mission, the German national spacecraft will photograph Apophis and make measurements documenting any changes the NEA, near-Earth asteroid, that's what NEA stands for, undergoes during its flyby. This particular mission will be a challenging one because of its duration, the distance it will be required to travel, and the fact that the craft will have no function autonomously for long periods. It would also have to launch at least a year before Apophis arrives in Earth's vicinity. So there's your update on a rock hurtling through space, one of millions of them, actually, but one that's going to get close enough so we can see it with a naked eye. So if you're around in April 2023 and you see something hurtling towards Earth, time to panic. No, just kidding. Back to you.
Time to panic. Oh, okay.
Just kidding. It's a joke. It might not be. Who knows? Maybe they forgot to carry a 1 in their calculations, huh?
I forgot to carry a
Maybe
1.
they didn't program the computer right.
We can only hope.
It's going to smash right in the middle of downtown Kansas City or something, right? Who knows?
It'll
wipe out, by the way, it'll wipe out a city if it hits it. It'll wipe out an entire city. It'll be vaporized if it hits it. Dead center. Okay, back to you.
Well, I was going to say, there is a movie about this called Melancholia, but it's more about a planet colliding with Earth, and then the whole plot of the movie really is that the scientists are lying to the people saying, no, the planet's just going to pass by. It's not going to hit the planet. And it does. But the second pass is when it collides with the planet. So, and everyone freaks out, and so, people commit suicide.
Hey, if people start panicking, they will stop investing in the stock market. That's all that really matters, right?
Economy will collapse finally. Okay.
Yeah.
Guess that's
people
something
stop
to look
paying
forward
their credit card bills. People stop paying their mortgages. Everything.
All right. Let's go ahead and talk about our culture segment, which is about Robert De Niro. This is from The Observer, as well as on The Guardian by Lois Beckett and other agencies. Film actor Robert De Niro was scheduled to accept the Leadership Award from the National Association of Broadcasters, but the group has rescinded the award after the celebrity spoke out against Donald Trump. One of their biggest money-making...
Cowards.
One of their biggest money-making trends is Donald Trump, right? People just love watching, love tuning in to see him talk. So I'm sure they're like, how dare you? You know how much money we make off Trump by talking about him 24/7? You can't talk bad about him.
I don't know if Trump comes on my TV, I look for a brick to throw.
Outside the former president's criminal trial in New York this week, The Hill and the Huffington Post report. The National Association of Broadcasters did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Don't forget to stretch your legs, Ally.
A spokesperson for the group told The Hill on Thursday, which was May 30th, that the event was proudly bipartisan and said, while we strongly support the right of every American to exercise a free speech and participate in civic engagement, it is clear that Mr. De Niro's recent high-profile activities will create a distraction from the philanthropic work that we were hoping to recognize. To maintain the focus on the Service Award winners, Mr. De Niro will no longer be attending the event.
Cowards.
That's just a cop-out answer, isn't it? Just a complete cop-out.
Cowards.
We're going to punish you for having an opinion. In a statement to The Hill, De Niro did not protest the decision and said he will continue to appreciate the group. I support the work of the NAB Leadership Foundation and would like to express my appreciation and gratitude for what the foundation has done and continue to do for the good of us all.
They probably got death threats. They got death threats. They're cowards.
The Hill reported him saying in a statement. On May 28th, De Niro, a longtime Democrat who recently voiced an ad for Democratic President Joe Biden, attended a Biden campaign event outside the Manhattan courtroom with two former law enforcement officers, Harry Dunn and Michael Fanone, who were at the U.S. Capitol when it was attacked by Trump supporters on the 6th of January 2021. Referring to Trump's successful 2016 run for president, the Academy Award winner said Trump's candidacy was initially laughed off as a joke. We've forgotten the lessons of history that showed us other clowns who weren't taken seriously until they became vicious dictators, he said. With Trump, we have a second chance, and no one's laughing now. This is the time to stop by voting him out once and for all. I mean, yeah, but the only way you can really get rid of him is, well, like we've said before, he either dies or he does have a second presidency, and then he can't have a third one because that's not allowed. So, I guess you have to keep voting him out until he's gone. If Trump returns to the White House, he said, Americans could see the civil liberties they take for granted evaporate as well as the end of elections. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave, said De Niro. Bannon Dunn delivered emotional remarks saying violence at the Capitol had been fueled by Trump's lies that the 2020 election was stolen. Speakers were heckled by Trump supporters as pro-Trump demonstrators chanted in the background. Trump campaign officials said the De Niro event showed desperation in the Biden camp. Joe Biden is losing nationally, said Jason Miller, a Trump spokesperson. President Trump's
what? There's no election going on.
And the best Biden can do is roll out a washed-up actor. How dare you?
Washed up. He just nominated for Academy Award.
This guy is calling his friends and gonna make you sleep with the fishes, as they say in probably one of his films. De Niro is a great actor, even as he gets older. He's had some crazy roles. He doesn't just play a gangster. He has some crazy roles out there. Stardust, for example. He plays a gay pirate in Stardust. I recommend you watch that film if you haven't. Great acting by De Niro.
Versatile too, and he's not afraid to play comedy either. A lot of serious actors won't do it.
I mean, why would I give it, honestly, let's just dismiss this guy's opinion. Some politician's opinion on acting, like they know anything about acting, you know? His most biting comments...
Wasn't he nominated for Best Supporting Actor, too, in the Academy Awards?
He has an Oscar. I'm pretty sure he has an Oscar.
Oscar for Raging Bull. He's got several nominations. Don't forget Midnight Run, man. That's when a lot of people are rediscovering Midnight Run. Robert
Honestly,
De Niro movie.
what
comedy.
you need to do is go out there and just watch all his films. Just go to IMDb and just click every one and just bottom to top. Taxi Driver. I'm pretty sure Taxi Driver was his first movie. Taxi Driver and up. Just keep going.
No, Mean Streets. Mean Streets is before
Streets?
Taxi Driver. Okay. Same Scorsese, but yeah.
In his most biting comments, De Niro spoke of Trump through the lens of a largely Democratic city whose voters know Trump well and roundly rejected him at the polls. We New Yorkers used to tolerate him when he was just another grubby real estate hustler masquerading as a big shot. A two-bit playboy lying his way into the tabloids, he said. A clown. No one took him seriously. They take him seriously now. Reuters did contribute to this report. So there's your news on De Niro getting socially lambasted by one award-winning. I would say he deserves a leadership role because that is a pretty leadership thing to do, is have a giant speech about how you feel and giving your opinion in the public forum for all the criticizers and the
They're just cowards.
Washed back. That's some leadership stuff. I'll give him. We're gonna give him. I wish I had like a trophy, but I don't have a trophy, so I'm just gonna pretend I'm holding.
You can give him the golf clap.
A golf clap?
Golf clap time.
No, not give him a golf clap. We can give him the actual good cheer. The cheer. The actual crowd cheer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
True.
woo! We're going to give him the before
That's
coffee
the only one I have
award
anymore.
of leadership as he continues to.
Well,
Even though he's
I'll
an
send him an
award-winning
award.
actor, he's still a human and he still shares the planet with the rest of us, and his opinion matters just as much as anyone else's. So, congratulations, you spoke your truth.
Mhm.
You told the truth, even when people booed you in the crowd. And I guess on to this day in history.
And as De Niro said to the response, the criticism to what he said. You know what Robert De Niro said? He said, "Talking to me? You talking to me? There's no one else here. You might be talking to me." Anyway.
Yeah, famously he does that into a mirror.
So don't piss off Oh yeah, Travis Bickle. Don't piss off Travis Bickle. He's coming for your politician. Don't forget Travis Bickle.
To be fair,
famously,
in that film,
Travis,
giving yourself a pep talk in the mirror does work. So if you're feeling like you're bad, especially today on Monday, yeah.
a little history here. Travis Bickle's hero, Travis Bickle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Role model for John Hinckley, who shot Reagan. So don't forget that part of it. Robert De Niro played Travis Bickle, who is the hero of John Hinckley, who shot Reagan, to impress Jodie Foster, who was also in that movie. John Hinckley was sending letters to Jodie Foster. So don't piss off Travis Bickle or any of his fans. Trumpsters. And you know Trumpsters are behind. There will also be a fan. It's like let's say Hitler was trying to come into power and somebody's criticizing Hitler and about to get their award, and they just got the award pulled it from under them, right? That's exactly what's happening. So we're going to this day in history now.
Oh yeah.
You can go take a nap.
I'm gonna take a
This
nap.
day in 1808, Jefferson Davis became the president. Jefferson Davis was born in this day in 1808. He later became a famous traitor as the president of the Confederate States. In 1844, in this date, great auks became extinct as the last two known specimens were killed by a fisherman on Eldey Island, Iceland. Way to go, assholes. Oh, they're birds. Better kill them. I have no fucking idea what's wrong with people. 1864, in this day, considered one of the worst northern defeats of the American Civil War, the Second Battle of Cold Harbor, Virginia, which would result in the loss of about 7,000 Union soldiers under General Ulysses Grant began. Of course, war people die, man. Bad tactics, bad timing. Civil War is notorious for just having bad intel, too. Just like, where's everybody? We don't know, and then you stumble across them.
I found them.
They didn't have radios.
Okay.
Or aerial reconnaissance. You found what? You found who? Where they lost? Anyway. 1904, American physicist and surgeon Charles Richard Drew, a pioneer in the preservation of blood plasma and a lifelong critic of official decisions to separate blood of whites and blacks in blood banks, was born in Washington, D.C. They used to separate the blood. Oh my God, people are fucking morons. Just never. Reading history is like, I don't have a functioning brain, but I'm a scientist. Okay. Morons have been running. If you think the human condition is bad now, just think about how stupid we were before, right? Good Lord. 1926, American poet Allen Ginsberg, a central figure in the Beat movement, was born in Newark, New Jersey. Allen Ginsberg. 1932, American baseball great Lou Gehrig hit 4 consecutive home runs in one game. There you go, Lou. 1937, 6 months after abdicating the British throne, famous Nazi Prince Edward, Duke of Windsor, who was a Nazi, no mistake about it. One of the first things he did was go visit Hitler. Married socialite Wallis Simpson, who became Duchess of Windsor. Shouldn't have been Duchess of anything. Should have just gone over to Germany and stayed with Hitler. That's where you should have gone. Nazi sympathizer. 1943 in Los Angeles, clashes erupted between U.S. servicemen and Mexican-American youth wearing zoot suits. And the zoot suit riots, they became known, occurred during the period of heightened racial tensions in the country. Okay. Sounds like a bunch of idiots. 1965, Ed White emerged from the orbital spacecraft Gemini 4, became the first American astronaut to walk in space. So that happened 59 years ago. First American walk in space. 1985, the talk show Larry King Live debuted on CNN and became hugely popular, in part because of King's easygoing interview style. Larry King Live. Larry King is still doing commercials beyond the grave. He's got quite an agent. Anyway, I heard a Larry King commercial the other day. It's like, he's been gone for a while now. 1989, Iranian Shiite cleric Ruhollah Khomeini, who led the revolution that overthrew Mohammad the Shah of Iran in 1979, and later served as Iran's ultimate political and religious authority, died in Tehran. Ayatollah Khomeini bought the farm back in 1989 this day. 1992, a lawsuit brought before the High Court of Australia by activist Eddie Kiyoko Mabo was decided in favor of the Torres Strait Islander peoples and Aboriginal peoples. The Mabo established land rights for all Indigenous people in Australia. Woo for the Aborigines! Winning in court, getting their land back. 2001, Mel Brooks' musical The Producers, starring Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane, won a record-setting 12 Tony Awards. The Producers was Mel Brooks' first movie also, back in the 60s. Or maybe early 70s, maybe in the 60s. In 2006, Montenegro's parliament declared the republic's independence, severing some 88 years of union with Serbia. 2016, American boxer and social activist. On this day, American boxer and social activist Muhammad Ali, who justified his self-proclaimed nickname the greatest by becoming arguably the most admired and dominant heavyweight boxer in history of the sport. I don't know about dominant. I don't think it was that dominant. He lost 3 he lost 3 times. He even lost to Leon Spinks, who was not that good. Anyway. Well, anyway, on this day, on June 3rd, Muhammad Ali passed away at the age of 74. Too many blows to the head caused him a lot of problems later in life.
Protect your head, guys.
Our featured event this day in 1989, the pro-democracy protest in Tiananmen Square crushed by Chinese military. This day in 1989, the Chinese government called the military to put down a pro-democracy demonstration carried out by more than 100,000 people in Tiananmen Square in Beijing, resulting in hundreds of. So the Chinese government hammer. Our feature biography, Josephine Baker, French entertainer, born June 3rd, 1906 in St. Louis, Missouri, died April 12th, 1975, age 68 in Paris, France. Of course, Josephine Baker, famously a black entertainer who had to go to France to get famous. 1865, George V, King of the United Kingdom, was born on this day. George V, which was, Queen Elizabeth's dad. Queen Elizabeth's dad, born the one with the stutter we were talking about a while back.
On Stutter,
we had to
on
make
Stutter
a bunch
Day.
of speeches.
Speak. What is it?
Speak
George the Stutter Day or something. Yeah. I can't remember.
Right. Or was it George? It might have been George VI, actually. It was a George, anyway. It doesn't say much. It just lists his birthday. Also, birthday in 1925, Tony Curtis, born this day, 99 years ago. Jamie Lee Curtis's dad. If you don't know who that is. He was also in Some Like It Hot, one of the best comedies of all time with Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon. We already mentioned Allen Ginsberg. It's Anderson Cooper's name. It's Anderson Cooper's name. It's also his birthday. Anderson Cooper, American television journalist, born on this day in 1967, the son of Gloria Vanderbilt. And it's also the birthday of Rafael Nadal, Spanish tennis player, born on this day in 1986. Happy birthday, Rafael Nadal. You are now officially old. You're 38. Now, what day is it? It's National Repeat Day. I will repeat that. It is National Repeat Day. It's National Chocolate Macaroon Day, National Leave the Office Early Day, and National Egg Day.
National Egg Day.
So, a National Repeat Day, it says. National Repeat Day happens each year on June 3rd. For some, this day is an opportunity. For others, a bad omen. Repeating a foot massage or a day with a dear friend would make this holiday special. Repeating a root canal or a natural disaster are not suggested. So I'm supposed to do what I did yesterday.
But just don't.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, just don't repeat.
Don't do that because
bad things, basically.
That's all. The day's for today. And it's National Egg Day. So those are the stories for today, June 3rd, 2024, on Before Egg.
Before Egg. All right, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands. I hope you are having a good Monday. And if you're not, you're about to right now because I've just given it to you. Tomorrow we are going to be doing our Good Tuesday News Day, which is all the good news that we can find on Tuesday. Or at least some positive stories that make you believe in humanity again. Don't forget to subscribe to the Ally and Rog channel so that we can reach higher on that subscriber goal of getting to 500. I appreciate everyone who's watching this. We appreciate everyone who's watching this. Turn on those notifications so you can get notified when we go live or when we post a video. Take care out there. Here is your brilliant mic drop moment.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.